today, and we have all been doing your fabulous courage class. No, kindness.
Kindness, yeah.
I got it muddled up. But yeah, it's a really beautiful practice, and it's a real practice which I think is so important for right now, because last day of the retreat, and also this is the time where, you know, we're all going through stuff, and it's a kind of nice time to just be thinking about being kind to ourselves and others, and if that's a minimum that we can all do, right?
Totally. And you know what? There's so much fear energy in the air, obviously, and wherever there's fear, there's going to be some edginess, some agitation, some conflict, you know.
Yeah.
Seeing people arguing on the high street over their 2 meters, or places in the queues.
Yeah.
I'm a parent, and I've got my 7-year-old at home, and I think I'm a bit snappy with her at moments, you know. But of course, these are normal responses to everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Fairly normal, maybe not having a fight on the high street, but you know, everyone's feeling a little bit edgy, and I think that's not good for the nervous system. It's better for us all to come from a place of softness, something a little bit more gentle and light, I think. And that's really what the message of the class was this morning.
Yeah, I think that's really, really so important. And I feel that we've all been on a real journey together of coming home and what it means to come home to ourselves, and maybe a sort of rediscovery of what it means to spend time at home, either on our own or with our loved ones.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Are you?
I almost feel a little bit cheeky saying that most of us are finding it in lots of ways quite difficult for all kinds of reasons, but I'm really enjoying being with my family and the newfound community energy, even though we're not allowed to go out and see each other, over the fence, leaving food for each other outside doorsteps, video calling people. It's beautiful. I must say, I'm enjoying it.
But that's an amazing energy to enjoy, because especially living in London. So you live in sort of London, don't you? And
we're North London. Muswell Hill has quite a good community vibe anyway, but everyone's busy all the time, and we're the school run. It's a hustle all the time. But now everyone seems to be a lot more laid back in terms of not having to rush from A to B, and just to be around my kids all the time for me is really, really special.
Well, you've got a brand new little one. How old's your little tiny?
5 months. She's 5 months.
Just 5 months. It's a lovely time actually to connect with her.
Yeah, it's perfect. And for the kids to connect, my 7-year-old, who would normally be at school all the time, is spending her whole days with her little sister. There's a lot of bonding happening.
That's actually so lovely to hear the real upsides that lots of people will be experiencing. And I'd love to hear from you guys how you're getting on and the upsides, because we've been through this process. We felt a lot of fear, we felt the anxiety, we've moved with courage and with awareness, but now to be able to sort of let some of that go with a lightness and that compassion. And what is it that this has brought out that's good? I think that might be a nice little thing for you, you know, if you're able to share anything like that, that might be nice. We've got a couple of comments, Nikita. Prior to Raki, Laura, my mum, Susanna. Susanna says, I loved exploring in your class this morning, what we can notice about ourselves and what's right in the moment. That's so cool. And just be able to notice that is special.
It is special. Sorry, are you still reading her comment? I think it's not possible to be mindfully aware every single passing moment, but to carve out time every day to be able to sit down and have a look at what's happening physically, what you feel sensationally, what's going on emotionally, what kind of thoughts are passing through your mind, just to get to know yourself a little bit better. And, you know, just meet yourself with a little bit of allowance and acceptance, because it's not all going to be light-hearted, lovely stuff that you come across, but that's also okay. That's totally fine, just to see yourself as you are and be cool with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I guess that's the practice, isn't it? Raki says, isn't it interesting how our responses to the situation we find ourselves in day to day, week to week? I'm enjoying home time too. quietening is good. Oh, Raki, I'm so pleased that you're able to just enjoy this time, because it's a weird one.
It is such a weird one.
And Diane, hello to Diane. Just to let you know, I loved Nikita's class in the Move into Happiness Challenge. Nice to hear you both. It's lovely to hear from you, Diane. So thank you.
Nice to hear from Diane.
My mum, Vera, Nikita, I really enjoyed your class. It was exactly right. Oh, you'll be pleased to know that. It hit the spot. It felt so good after. And even the meditation was just the thing. Now, that is unusual because my mum is not big into meditation. I say, as I'm not so good at meditation and usually abandon it halfway, but not your meditation. So that's very good. Yeah.
They're quite cool ones.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They're manageable, maybe. And Sandy, it's lovely to have you here as well. Love what Nikita said about her daughters. It's beautiful. I did the kindness class 2 months ago and loved it as much as did it again today. It is a
awesome.
Yeah. It's really nice to hear that people are able to, just feel a little bit of that lightness and kindness. And I'd love to hear any other thoughts or comments or anything that people have as we have our little chats as we round up our homecoming, because we've been on a bit of a journey and it's always nice to just sort of consolidate it with how everybody's feeling. And also to be honest, because I think it's lovely, Nikita, that you're able to be honest, that you've been enjoying your time with your daughters and the time connecting. Because in a way, I think there's a lot of pressure to feel like I'm keeping up with the news and I'm feeling so sad for, obviously there's a lot of people suffering and there's a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, it feels bad to acknowledge any good.
Enjoying it, yeah. I hear that. And obviously for lots of people it's been devastating, and a lot of my colleagues, a lot of my peers, because being a self-employed yoga teacher, I think lots of people are experiencing lots of difficulty. But you know what I've noticed is that everyone has been really creative in how they have evolved with the times, and I'm really enjoying seeing that creative energy. And I was reminded this morning of a really interesting quote from Charles Darwin, that it's not the most intelligent of the species that survive nor the strongest, but the ones that are most adaptable to change. And doesn't it just beget us to ride with any new waves that come, to accept change with that flexibility? And I kind of feel like that's the side I'm trying to look at rather than the difficulty.
Absolutely, I love that. And it is, and that's of course such a hard practice in life, to accept change with flexibility.
Of course it is.
We all love to have our plans and our routines and the structures and the things in our diaries that we're looking forward to. And now we don't have any of that. Having that flexibility and treating how we feel about it with that sense of compassion.
Yeah, agreed. And actually, to be honest, it's very human to be negative about our circumstances, our situations. It's just a normal human defense mechanism. But it takes a little bit more awareness to try and look at the positive, the optimistic side of things. I feel like that's how I'm rolling at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's good. Well, we've got hiya Anne. Anne Tyler's also joined us from London. Sandy, I find teaching from home liberating. I love it. Plus I've been baking and doing more around the house.
Yes.
That's so nice to be able to see those upsides. And hiya Kathy, it's lovely to have you back. I'm loving these sessions because you get to know a little about the teachers' personalities. Yeah, that's the thing, because you're real people. Real lives. It's really cool. And also to know that you are yogi, you're living a life which is you're steeped in your practice and you're steeped in the learning, but you're also a mom, a family person. You're also navigating life's ups and downs just like everyone else.
Of course. And you know what? Situations like the lockdown, the hard situations, the hard experiences, they're the ones that gives the best opportunity to kind of put into practice the things that we've learned from the science of yoga. I feel like the more challenging the situation is, the more of the tools we can pull out of our bag whether it's just spending all your time with your kids, which can be sometimes overwhelming, or trying to homeschool while you're also working full time from home, or all of us, whether we're yoga teachers or yoga practitioners, or whether we've only just started the practice, we're all in the same boat, and we're all doing the best we can, aren't we?
Absolutely. There's nothing more that we can do. And this is an interesting question from Susanna. I've been wondering about practicing yoga every day. Eric Schiffman suggests taking a rest day once a week. I'm practicing every day, but not as much as him. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I think the most important thing is to listen to your body and what your body wants. Different schools of yoga have different recommendations. In Ashtanga, they take moon days off, or perhaps if it's your time of the month, if you're a female. I personally go through phases where I practice every day, or phases where I don't practice for 2 weeks physically on the mat. Don't forget that every day you're practicing yoga in non-physical ways. For example, ahimsa, which is, the Sanskrit term for non-violence, which essentially is conducting yourself with kindness and compassion. The more you're spending time with yourself, practicing awareness of your actions, your responses, and so on, that is yoga. That's big yoga. But if you're talking just exclusively about getting on the mat and practicing asana, just listen to your body. You don't have to get on the mat and do strong vinyasa every single day. You might choose to do something quite gentle and restorative one day, and then the following day, perhaps a more fiery flow. Your body will always guide you. Your body's always got the truth.
Yeah, that's wise. Yeah, I love that. Living the yoga off the mat and taking the lessons and incorporating the things that we're learning in our lessons into our everyday. It doesn't matter if we're doing the shapes or not. It's so long as we are, living that life with awareness and kindness and the compassion and ahimsa, as you say. I think that's yoga.
That is the yoga. Yeah.
That is the yoga. Adrienne, it's so good to have you here. Always so good to listen to your words, Nikita. Listening with my children. Found this weekend, you're magic. Oh, isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, everybody, for joining. And do continue letting us know how you're getting on. Nikita, how do you feel about doing a little meditation?
I'd love to. I'd love to do a little meditation.
I'd love to. I'd feel it would really bring things to a whole. It's been a really nice whole homecoming, and that would very much help.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I would say then get yourself in a comfortable position. It doesn't have to be seated. You could be lying down. Just make sure that you feel comfortable in your physical body. And I'll invite you to close your eyes if that feels appropriate. But if you prefer to have your eyes open, then just try and have a really soft gaze, not a hard focus on anything. And we'll begin just by observing the breath. Just come to a natural pattern of breath. And pay attention to the way that the breath moves. Notice its length, its depth. And if you have any desire to control the breath, let's see if you can actually just let it be as it is. Aware of what it is to allow your breath just to be free. Living in a time when our freedom to move around has been restricted temporarily. Freedom in other ways. And one of those ways is with the breath. Just mindfully allowing it to move as naturally as possible, without any restriction. This awareness of your breath is going to help anchor us into the here and now. It also serves as a bridge to draw your attention from what's happening outside to what's happening on the inside. It's kind of the beginning of the journey to your interior experience. Does your breath feel symmetrical? Is the in-breath a little bit shorter than the out-breath? How full is your breath? How smooth? And if you notice your mind drifting off, wandering away, don't worry, just bring it back to this focus on your breath. And start to notice how your breath feels within your body. So how far it travels, where it travels to, where you might feel expansions inside the body, your tummy, your rib cage, where you might feel a little bit of toning of the muscles, different parts of the breath. Awareness of all the ways that you experience your breath within your body. Think about the drawing down of the diaphragm into the pelvis, the broadening of the mid-body as we inhale, and soft release, the heating of the exhale. Maybe there is some sensation at the palms of the hands, at the crown of the head, or at the face. And beyond the context of the breath, just notice what else you feel inside and around the body. Which sensations are clear and loud? Which sensations might be more like whispers? Where do you feel what you feel? You might find that some of those sensations are quite pleasant. You might find that some are more uncomfortable. And let's just remember that it's okay to become acquainted with aspects of your experience that are maybe not necessarily comfortable or pleasant or easeful. It's okay to see things exactly as they are. The important thing is just to be aware of what there is. The closer you look, the more time you spend exploring what there is, the more information you receive. You might find that there are some really subtle sensations that perhaps you didn't notice at first. They're a bit more accessible. A closer glance, the more closely you feel, the more closely and keenly you observe your physical experience. And as you feel your way around your body, you might notice that there are some thoughts on the periphery, wanting to move into center stage, wanting to be noticed. And you go ahead and allow those thoughts to move through your mind. And be aware of them. Notice them without disappearing on a narrative or a story with any of them, just observing. Recognizing the nature of the thoughts, the tone of that inner narrative. And just like the sensation in your body, you'll probably find that some of the emotions and thoughts that you're observing now will be easy to sit with, easy to experience, enjoyable to explore. And perhaps others might be a little bit more challenging. But are we able to meet them all with an awareness and with love and compassion? Can there be an allowance, an acceptance, and understanding as we notice the reality of our inner world as it is just at this moment? No pressure to change anything right now, just to be with what there is. Holding yourself really lightly and kindly and gently. Present in our experience, aware of what there is, the lightness, the allowance, and acceptance. And there's a real spaciousness to that. wherever your mind is at the moment. Just inviting it to come back to the breath. Rooting into your breath, your anchor to present moment, the thread that binds it all together. And preparing to externalize the mind by just listening to the sounds around you. Maybe in the street outside or elsewhere in the house and in the room that you're in. When you're ready, very gently allowing the eyes to flutter open. Bringing your hands together in prayer at the heart. And we'll close our meditation there. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Nikita. That's beautiful. Really enjoyed that. It's really nice and simple, and just that feeling of softness, of compassion. I think that's what was needed, really.
Good. And also that feeling just of checking in with ourselves, you know, when there's a little bit of panic fluttering around, it's really easy to be really out there, to send our mind out to what's happening outside. And I think it's so important every day just to come back to our own self and our own experiences.
Yeah.
Just a little bit every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a beautiful practice. I think hopefully everyone will be able to sort of come back to that one for whatever ups and downs are going on.
Good. Hope so.
Yeah, thank you. And let us know what you thought, if you enjoyed that. Yeah, so we've got hello, Heidi. Lovely to see you here. Kathy says, I've noticed that many of the teachers invite us to do something rather than telling us to close the eyes, for example. Is this an intention of kindness, or does it enhance the effect of meditation?
An invitation rather than telling you.
Yeah, invite us to do something rather than telling us to close the eyes. Yes, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone's experience is different. Everyone is working with something different, and what works for you may not work for the next person. And so the invitation is to check in with yourself and understand what feels like the most effective way to connect to self for the meditation or for your practice. If I simply instruct you to just close your eyes, you might find that it's a stressful experience, which is the opposite of what we want to achieve.
I see. Yeah, so we can sort of bespoke it for our needs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let us know if that helps, Kathy. And hello, Nikki. Thank you. That was lovely. I feel so much more balanced. I do. I feel quite serene actually now. I feel like that was absolutely lovely. I'm rounded off the day and ready for bed, actually. It was really, really nice. Just a little bit of noticing where you're at and kindness. And I suppose what I'm noticing is I'm very tired. And sometimes I think it's quite nice to just have the space of checking in to notice how you're feeling and not judge it. Just be like, okay, probably an early night tonight. That's all right.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same as, you know, the art of active listening to really understand how a friend is doing. Is checking in with yourself to understand, honestly, what are you working with and what is needed here?
Mm-hmm.
An important skill.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, Zoe, thank you, Nikita, and thanks for this week. Yeah, it's such a pleasure. It's been so lovely working with you, the teachers who have given up your time, given up your Easter Monday, your kids being sent off on errands, so you can be peaceful for a few seconds. I think this is your very first time without your 5-month year. So.
Yeah, it is, and I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's really lovely that you've given up your time, and it's really lovely that everybody has joined in for this sense of community, this sense of working out what's up and how we can connect with each other more deeply. And use this as an opportunity, because I do feel that it's a rubbish scenario, obviously, but we have to see it as a gift.
We have to, and it's not always easy, is it, to see how the opportunities that you're presented with. It's not easy to try and sift the gold out of the mud.
Sift the gold out of the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if there's anything that we've been doing, it is sifting gold from mud. I think that's beautiful. Susanna, thank you. Lovely last day of the retreat. It's been brilliant, 10 days, and a wonderful response this time. Thank you all. Well, we are going to run another retreat, another homecoming retreat, if we all stay in lockdown. I think that...
looks like we are.
It looks like we probably are. So I think that we'll do it again, because it's a very powerful thing for us all to do. We're all of us sort of shut in a very particular time and space. And I think that sifting the mud, the gold from the mud, it takes a bit of guidance, and it takes a bit of community, and it takes a little bit of sharing. Yeah. And to have the ability of these amazing teachers, of Nikita, who've got years of wisdom, of sifting through the yogic texts, of teaching students face to face, and then coming together to teach us, it really is a very magical thing. And the fact that you're from your house in London to our houses where we're all located, it's really very, very special, because even though we're distanced, we can sort of feel each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely feel that.
Honor. Thank you so much, Kat. Thank you. It's an honor to be part of this community. It really is.
It's an absolute honor for me. And thank you, everybody, for participating so wholly, you know, bringing all of yourselves. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Night, night, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.